Hi, welcome. It's 7:29, but the early bird catches the worm. I'm Rashid Ogunlaru, and welcome to the latest Soul Trader webinar, web talk event with myself, Rashid Ogunlaru, coach, speaker, and author of Soul Trader, Putting the Heart Back into Your Business. I'm making it 7:30 now live. Welcome if you're watching this live. Welcome if you are watching this on playback. I'm really delighted that you are here. If you haven't been here for any of our webinars before, welcome. If you're a regular, then welcome back. I'm really glad that you are here. It's really interesting. The theme of today's webinar is back to work, back to business. And of course, that's what it's about. If you're happening to be watching this actually live, you'll know that we're recording this. It's early in September, and many of you will be going back to work, the workplace that you've been in, or perhaps into a new job, like a contact of mine's just started in a new job actually, or perhaps it is that you're going back to your business. And it's quite an interesting time because here we are in September, it is the start of a new season. It's one of the most interesting phases of the year, this phase from September to December. Those of you who listen to my Shifting Seasons podcast will know that I was talking about the power of this particular season. If you think about it, it's a season, yes, that people go back to work, yes, they go back to business. It's also a time where people go back to school. It's a time of studying. It's a time of harvesting. This quarter, for those of you who are in business, it's often the most productive quarter. You know, many people in retail, for example, they make more money perhaps in this quarter or perhaps sometimes in a few weeks than they do for the rest of the year. So it's a studious time. It's a very productive time. It's also, it has a completely different energy that it has to summer. People are back to work and that they are often re-energized. But that often goes hand in hand with lots of people feeling perhaps doubtful about whether what they're doing now is right for them. In fact, just yesterday, I was speaking around this time actually to somebody I mentor, and she was saying, you know, I've just been away on holiday and I've just realized that this isn't for me, the job that I do isn't for me. In fact, it had been a gradual realization, but the summer break had really clarified for her that it wasn't for her, well, it wasn't for her at all. So perhaps you're in this particular situation, perhaps this is something that absolutely chimes with you. So whether you are somebody who's working and work is your thing, or whether it is that you're somebody who's in business or somebody who's on that kind of transition, welcome one and all. Just a couple of bits of housekeeping. The webinar today will probably run between now and about I said 8:30, but actually we'll probably finish about 8:20 because I might even set you a few bits of homework to do. So that's that. If you've got a question, you can actually send it to our Facebook page. So if you're watching this on the Soul Trader website page, which you most probably are, then what you can do is if you just scan down the text of the page, what you'll see is that it says, you know, if you to watch it, you know, follow the link that you're on, and it says if you've got a question, post it here on our Facebook page. So if you follow that link, it will take you through to our Facebook page, and I'm going to keep one eye on the Facebook page. All you'll need to do in order to post your question on the Facebook page is to like the page and then to write your question there. But I know some of you are shy, so I'm going to be adding in the kind of questions or the thoughts that that people often bring to me when I'm working with them on these things. Okay, let's get started. Back to work and back to business. Let's keep it quite simple. I want to start off with a ready, set, go approach. And this is going to be the bit that is going to be relevant and be the same, whether it is the case that you are working, you're employed, or whether it is your own boss. So the first thing is ready. Well, the first thing I want to ask you is, are you ready? Are you ready to go back? Have you had the rest that you need? Again, today I was running a workshop for some people in the NHS. And what was interesting is that one of the ladies attending this particular workshop, she had been covering it for everybody else whilst during the summer holiday. So she hasn't had a holiday yet. And her boss is even telling her, actually, you need to have a break. So the first thing is ready. Are you ready, or do you need to get some rest, or do you need to plan in that holiday? That is the first thing. The other thing in terms of ready, have you got everything ready? So you might even have been back to work or back in your business for a couple of weeks or a couple of months, but you may not actually be ready. You may not actually be organized. How organized are you? So it can be a really good time to clear your desk, clear the decks, And make sure you've got a clear filing system, clear out all those old emails. You know, if need be, come in early one morning and just do it. Get in 2 hours early, 1 hour early, whatever it is that you need to do. It's going to have a huge impact on your productivity. So make sure you've got ready. You know, you need to have some clear space. I often say, and you may hear me say it many times, you cannot pour more water into a full cup, a full glass, what have you, without causing a spillage. So, you know, it's really going to be very important for you to make sure that you clear some space. You need to create space and to create in the new. So that's the first thing. Are you ready? Do you have systems in place, your filing and everything else? It's really, really important. So make sure you've got that space. Clear desk, clear desktop. So many people have so many icons on their computer and so on. So just clear all of that. And even as I'm talking about that, can you just feel the energetic shift? You might even be feeling more relaxed, because you need to be energized. You need to be in a really good space. You need to be calm. You need to be clear. So are you ready? And that might then mean getting certain materials ready, certain documents ready, plan ready. And that bit about a plan ready is going to lead me into the next element, which is the set. Are you set? Do you have the mindset? Do you have the skill set? And where is it that you're setting your sights? Again, in the workshop I was running today, one of the attendees realized that she didn't have the right self-talk, she didn't have the right mindset. She was doing herself down, but she was so gifted. And she was getting feedback from others about how good she was. So, you know, whatever it is that you're wanting to achieve in your life and your business, you've got to be on your own side. You'll hear me say this many times in these webinars. You are the captain of the ship, whether it is in your career or whether you're in business. It's your job to steer the ship to safe harbor. Nobody else's. You're the person who wakes up in your body every day. You've got to be on your own side. So stop beating yourself up on your own side. Okay. So that's the first thing about your mindset. The other thing is that you need to set, and you have a clear set of goals. You've got to know where it is that you're heading to. If you're employed, I guess there's this thing about, okay, do you like where it is that the organization's going? Do you like the destination that the organization's going, or your job is going, or do you even know? It might well be that perhaps you do know the destination that it's going and you don't like it, in which case when we get onto the go bit later on, then we can look at that for you. It might well be you need to set a new set of goals. Just yesterday I was working with a new client for the first time. And what was interesting, that she's at a turning point in her business, in a way that she's got a successful business. In fact, there's two elements to her business. She's been in business for many years, but she's had a couple of setbacks and she's really exploring, what does she want to do now? Does she want to give the business another push and take it to the next level, or does she want to scale it down? So this requires you setting a new set of goals. So a couple of things here. Is there already a strategy that you have in your company? If you're employed, is there a strategy? Is there a vision? Is there a mission? Are you clear on it? Are you clear what your job is supposed to do? Are you clear what the department's supposed to do? Are you clear what the organization's about? If you're not, ask. Make sure that you're absolutely clear. You might be going into a new workplace. Make sure you're clear. You know, many organizations don't have a clear vision or mission. Ask, find out, raise it at the team meetings, chat to your boss in a way that's very productive. But do that. It's really important, because if you don't know where you're going, how can you get there? You need to know what that vision is, so you can really buy into that mission or and vision or not, and decide that you're going to go elsewhere. So that's really important. If you're your own boss, well, in fact, even let's stay with this thing about career for a moment. If you're employed, then the second bit about it is setting your own goals. And many of the time, and much of the time when we're employed, we don't think about this. You know, we kind of expect the organization to do it. But remember, your career is your business, so it's your job. So I invite you to write some goals for what you're wanting for your life and for what you're wanting for your career. So take a little bit of time, write a 1 or 2 page career plan. This is where I am, this is where I'm at now, these are the skills that I'm wanting, here are the qualifications I'm wanting, here's what I'm wanting to be next year, 2 years' time. Now I'm lead officer in this role. In 2 years' time, I want to be a manager in this role. You know, write that down. I have a 2-page career plan template that I use when I'm running workshops for people who are starting their own, in their career. Today I was working with that with the people that I was working with. But you could write yourself a simple plan with your vision, what your mission is, and what you're trying to achieve personally and professionally, what skills and qualifications you need, and so on. And write that. You know, that will really help you so that you've got a plan. It's important that you are productive. Remember, there's all sorts of books and tools out there, and there are all sorts of other resources. If you Google my name and career development, or your career or jobs, you'll find other tips and tools from me on that particular level. But it's really important that you write a plan. Where is it you want to be? Visualize it, meditate on it, sit with it, ask yourself, what are my skills, what are my talents? You really need to therefore set that destination of where you're going. Otherwise, you're going to feel all at sea. Do you see that you may well be feeling all at sea because you can't see, you don't know where you're going, you haven't given yourself that time to look and to explore. So it might even be, okay, one of the things you wanting to have in your plan is to explore over the next few months what it is you wanting to do next, and so on. Those of you who are employed in terms of your business, what I'm going to get you to think about is, okay, what are your business goals? Perhaps you've already got a business plan. Those of you who are regular to Sole Trader, the chances are that you will have a 2-page business plan. If you don't, and if you go into the free membership page of the website, soletrader.biz, soul-trader.biz, that you might be watching this, or you might be watching on YouTube, you can then get free membership, and you can get access to this free 2-page business plan template. Or if you've got the Sole Trader book, you can do that. Incidentally, if you are finding that this thing about this setting and being clear about who you are and your mission and what you're trying to achieve, if you're struggling with it, you can also download the first free chapter of my book, Sole Trader, free on the Sole Trader book page of the website. Whilst it applies to business, all of those things also apply to your life and your career. And in fact, there's an exercise that says what's important to you in your life, what's important to your career, what's important to you in your business. Because this thing about the vision is absolutely key. What is it that you're wanting? And that might take a little bit of time to distill. Okay, here's where I am, here's what my skills are. If you're stuck, ask other people. So that's the thing about setting those clear goals. The other thing about set that I want to say is that it might be important for you to set certain times aside for certain things. What times of the day are you best for writing? What times of the day are you best for meetings? What times of the day for the day-to-day productive bit of your work? You know, whatever the key bit that you need to do creatively is of your administratively with your job. What times of the day you're best, and what time do you might need to perhaps set aside for family, for free time, for holidays? Put that time in your diary. Just a note on that. The person I started coaching yesterday, who, as I said, is doing well as a business owner, what we need to do is to make sure that there's time for her. She's busy, and it's important that we put in time for her partner, time for her to relax, time for her in terms of business planning, business development. So that's absolutely key. Put in those set times. If you're somebody who's very disorganized, then create yourself a timetable. How organized are you? Do you have a diary, either a written diary, or do you have a very clear smartphone where everything's timed and scheduled? You know, there's all sorts of different tools and things that are going to help you. What is it you need in order to be set? Because if you're wanting to progress, you've got to be organized. So this is all about getting yourself really organized. Okay, so setting aside time, setting a timetable, setting your sights. Then the third and the final aspect to this is go. Go is about a number of things. It's about, think about in a race, it's about running, it's about performing at your best. So the ready and the set are going to set you up for the go, aren't they? The ready and the set. Are you ready? Are you rested? Are you recharged? Are you set? Do you know where it is that you're going? Do you have your eyes set on something, on that goal, on the prize? Again, just today rather, I was running this particular workshop, career development workshop, for the staff within the NHS, and we got somebody who's very, very senior in their career relating to this group that we're working with, and she was sharing how she had maneuvered ahead in her career. And she had her sights set very clearly on the things that she's wanting to do. And that's one quality that is similar for those people who are very, very successful in career as in business. They've got a very clear set direction of what they're wanting to do, and they're focused on it. I often say that you need to be one at the same time very single-minded. This is where I am, this is where I'm going, and at the same time open-minded, so that then when you know where you're going, that you're aware and you're alert to what's going on around you. So this bit about Go is about a number of things. It's about performing, giving 100%, showing up on time, showing up early, being energized, being polished, being polite, being proactive, being involved in the team meetings. If you're your own boss, you've got those clear goals, you're out and about networking, you're not just at home, you're doing a blend of things. Yes, there might be times where you're doing things like this, you're watching things online to inspire you, to engage you, to educate you, to support you and so on. But a lot of it is that you going out there, being with people. And then when you are there, you need to be on form. I was saying to the group of people who I was working with just today, you've got to be, see that you're on stage all the time. You know, the only time you're not on stage is when you're at home, behind closed doors. Otherwise you're on. You need to give 100% for you, your customers and your clients. But then there's this other aspect of Go. Well, before we go into the leaving bit, go for your dreams, go for it. Go and approach the people who you know can help you. Have you got that get up and go? It might be that you need a mentor, it might be you need a coach, it might be that you can chat to other people, develop your network. Again, that links to that going out there and engaging with people. Go for it. The other aspect of Go is, are you happy where you are? As I've already explained, I'm working with a couple of people at the moment who are in some way, shape or form wanting to go. Just as yesterday I was coaching a client, she runs a business. She's just started up that business. It's an online business. She could run it actually ironically from anywhere in the world. And she said to me, you know what, Rashid, I've had my holidays and so on. And for me, I'm deciding I'm going to go abroad. I'm going to the States. She's going to be up there for a few months. And then she's planning to stay there, hopefully, if she can get everything kind of sorted out. So for her, it was about where in the world it is that she's based and where she wants to be placed and where it is that she feels most drawn to. For you, it might be going in another way. Another client, this person who is employed, as I mentioned before, quite senior. She said, you know what, I realize that where I'm at the moment isn't where I want to be. I need to go. And she's beginning to think about where it is that she wants to go and planning that. She said to me, I never thought that I would make another change. And I thought I might be where I am for forever, but she's ready to change. So if it's about going, you need to be mindful about that. When feels right to go? What's the work that you need to do before you go? Have you planned your route? You're not necessarily going to go on holiday without planning a route, are you? So it might be the same things with going. Sorts of planning and research you need to know. Do you know where you're going to? And how are you going to get there? Again, do you need help? Do you need advice? Do you need support to help you with that? It can be quite emotional, that splitting ties. It might be that go element for another client of mine who's based abroad. She's in a job, she's been in the job for about a year or so now, and there's some challenges with it. She's got her career development plan, the things that I talked about earlier, and she's tweaking that all the time. There's some good things about where she's working, and there's some challenges where she's working. So she's set her eyes on where she wants to be in a few years' time, but she's also monitoring how things go in the workplace in order to decide whether she needs to go earlier so that she can plan that her next move. If for you, it might be emotionally that you need time to make those ties. And this can apply for those of you who are in business too. So it might well be that you're in business and you think, I'm not sure that this really resonates with me. And again, the client I was working with just yesterday, who's running a business that's doing well, she's exploring that. Is it about a case of growing the business? Is it a case of letting part of the business go? Is it the case of going into a new area that might be nourishing and energizing for again? Is it a case of scaling it back? Is it a case even perhaps of letting it all go? So sit with that. So I'm just going to invite you to just pause now, just to be still. I might invite you to close your eyes. So where are you at now? Are you ready? Is everything set? Again, just yesterday I was working with someone and there's new things that she needs to set in place. She's now setting up as an actual business, as a limited company. She now needs a set of terms and conditions. She needs to set up insurance. She's just set up a business bank account, taking things to that next level. It's ways that you need to set up. And what needs to go? The other aspect of go, maybe you're trying to do much, maybe you're trying to do too many things. You're doing this therapy, and that therapy. You're selling umpteen different products. Are there some aspects of what it is that you're doing that need to go? So again, I just invite you to close your eyes. Are you ready? What things are ready? And what things need a little bit of your attention? Are you set? Do you have the mind set? Maybe you need times like this where you can relax, where you can tune into yourself. And whatever that is that works for you. Relaxation, meditation, a walk, communication. Exercise. All of these things will begin to calm the mind. It's where you set. And again, what things do you need to set up? And what needs to go? Or what direction is that you need to go in? Right. So we've covered a lot of ground already. One of the things I'm going to do toward the end of this webinar is that I'm going to probably leave you at around 8:20 or possibly even 8:15, because I want you to allow that last 10 or 15 minutes for you to think about your plan and think about your next actions. What I want to do now is just take this one step further. We've been looking on quite a big level in a way, and I want to make this very immediate. We happen to be recording this, as I said, right at the beginning of this call, at September, the start of September, early September, about the 8th of September. And as I was saying before, this is a key stretch of the year. So I want you to think about what is it you're wanting to achieve for the rest of the year. And what is it that you're wanting to achieve next year? Let's come back first of all to this thing about what we're wanting to achieve for the rest of this year. Got 3 months. October, November, December. Given the holidays and breaks and so on, it probably is about 3 months, isn't it? What is really important? This is one of your opportunities when you reflect back to what your goals are for your year and so on. For those of you who've got strategies and plans and so on, what has been achieved, what are the things that could be achieved now, so that you can put perhaps 1 or 2 things in place. So it might be, okay, what we need to do is win 1 or 2 more clients. If you're in business, it might be about that. It might well be about putting certain things in place, finishing up the new website, getting the new marketing materials out, going to a certain couple of trade shows, whatever it is. So just think about what is that you're wanting to achieve between now and December. Because what's nice about this makes it very much real and present. So maybe set what's the financial amount that you're wanting to make between now and December, mindful of what energy you can put in and mindful of what your track record has been so far. So you want it realistic, but kind of challenging at the same time. Or certainly energizing. You want it certainly energizing. I say you want it challenging, but you might actually, unless you're in this space where you're actually wanting to consolidate, where you might think, actually, no, it's just about putting this in place. In fact, one of the people I was coaching yesterday who runs her own business, it might be that the goals that she might want to put in place actually for her are conservative, while she consolidates a certain part of the business to move further forward. Again, all of this stuff applies if we're talking about your career. Okay, what is it that can be achieved between now and December? Okay, I can update my CV. Okay, I can update my LinkedIn profile. This came up to a person who I was coaching last night, who realized that it was time for her to go. A new organization, we looked at her LinkedIn profile, for example, that needed to be enhanced. So what are perhaps the 3 or 4 things that you need to do? Write those things down. So therefore, you've got some couple of clear goals. You might then want to come up with goals for the next year, 1 year ahead, and then 3 years ahead. But this thing about making it near and present can be very, very powerful. Because you might think, yeah, absolutely, it's about updating my CV. In fact, somebody just said to me, in fact, it was that lady, she said, actually, I realized that by the end of the year, I want to be out here. So, okay, then we can come up with a plan. Okay, let's get the CV done this month. Let's get the LinkedIn profile done this month. And let's get you going out and begin to have conversations with people emerging this month, and so on and so on. So it's already begun. And they feel she's got this a sight set on leaving the company by the end of December. That's a classic example of what I'm talking about, a handful of goals between now and December. Perhaps if you're in business, you've got a different set of goals. Okay, updating the website, putting this in place, or finally finalizing our website, like a couple of people I'm working with at the moment, getting these materials done, going out to this show or that show, or having conversations with this person and that person, and making this number of sales, and then decide what bits of work need to be done. If you're not sure, then maybe one of your actions is going out there and talking to or developing some links with contacts, people who've been there and done it, who can help you on that process, or perhaps you need a coach or mentor, whatever it might well be. There may be within this thing an element of back to school. Other things you need to learn. Maybe things have changed and you need to really get your head around new ways of marketing yourself. I've got one of my clients who works within the fitness industry, and he's just broadened out what he's done. He's just produced a product, a book, but he's also now beginning to embrace more of social media, and he's started to use video because he's such a visual kind of business. He's a speaker, he does all sorts of particular things in terms of safety, in terms of street safety, through to training and so on. He is somebody who's really compelling in person, and when people meet him, they never tend to forget him. If you happen to be going out and about with him walking even between A and B, he seems to know everybody. And one of the things he said very powerfully to me once when we were doing a session, he said, look, Rashi, when people meet me and when they're doing training sessions with me, or I give them a free sample, invariably they sign up and they become clients. So the key thing for him is for people to be able to see him, experience him, and so on. So him beginning to embrace video, his video tips and so on, is very powerful for him. We've just recorded his first set of those kind of tips. So for you, it might be about learning something new or introducing something new, this going back to school element. What is the thing that you need to learn? Maybe it is that for you, it's about understanding more about the financials in your business. Maybe it's about you sitting down for half an hour with your accountant. I needed a while ago to become more au fait with pensions and suddenly address that as one task. So I sat down with a financial advisor, I got the information that I needed, and I focused on it as a piece of work. But for me, that was just something I needed to. So it's kind of a learning back to school bit. So it might be something new, or it might be something that you need to renew. So what is it you need to learn? I want you to think about also, what is it that you are burying your head in the sand about? Often we bury our head in the sand. This is a bit where, in other words, I'm asking you what's hot and what's not in your business. What's hot and what's not? What's working well? Personally, maybe you might think, okay, I'm really good with this, I've got a good relationship with the boss, I've got this, I've got that in place, I've got a track record of delivering this. What are things that aren't so good? Well, struggling with this, we've just lost this kind of customer and client, I need time for this or that, you know. Identify it, write it down. This is what's hot, this is what's not. How can you enhance things that are working well? You're great with people, go out. Well, maybe you should be chatting to more people. Maybe you're really good with the technology. Well, maybe what are the opportunities for you to introduce that more? If you're employed, what things you really enjoy, what things you're really good at? Could you have a conversation with your boss about where it is that you're at and where it is on your own development? That certainly is likely to be one element that's going to be key for those of you who are employed. Where is it that you're wanting to be in your career? We all just talked about that set piece, but it might well be that one of the things that you set up is that conversation with your boss. Don't necessarily wait for the annual appraisal for it. It might be you have a chat and say, look, I'm just wondering, this is where I am. I've been giving some thought to in terms of my own development. I thought that perhaps I might need this, and this skills, and I'm wanting to get here, here, and here in my career. And can we work on that? That shows that you're proactive. And it's a good test of how responsive your boss is if you're employed. So don't take that step back. You need to step forward. You need to take charge in terms of your career. So again, I just want to pause it there and just review what it is that we've covered already. So we started with this ready, set, go. Are you ready? Do you need to relax more? Do you need to put things in place? Do you need to get everything in order, lined up, just like it for a dinner party? Have you got the food in? Have you got this in? Have you got that in? And so on. Get in business, are you ready? You know, maybe you're rushing ahead, but you haven't got everything in place, you haven't got your website, you haven't got your terms and conditions, and you're charging up there, it's not ready. You know, you're pulling the things out of the oven too soon, it's not ready, it's half-baked. Are you ready? What's that? Have you got the things in place? And go. Are you giving 100% all the time? Are you really showing up? Are you really energized? Are you connected to what it's about? It's become who you are. You've got to be authentic also about who you are. So once you've got those things in place, this ready, set, go, there's something about, okay, we then talked about this thing about, okay, September to December. What's the season that we are in right now, okay? At this time, it's okay between now and December. What's that season about? What should I, what's achievable for me? So we're able to break it into that chunk. And then we can also think about next year and so on. You might be at a particular phase in your life or your career or your business that it might be just about one thing. You'll probably hear about me talk about this in future webinars, because all of this stuff needs to be revisited. It's like dust will accrue on a window, on a table. So this thing about reflecting and reviewing is very, very, very important. And that's another thing to set time aside for that review. So that time to pause, to reflect and review is something that's really important. It's so important. Just wanted to pause there to bring that back into your view. Because perhaps just setting aside, and it might well be one of the things I recommend, is putting a 10-minute business development review in. It's one of the things I recommend in the Soul Trader book, those of you who've read it. And it's something that I would recommend in terms of your career too. Weekly. When should you do it? First thing on a Monday morning, last thing on a Friday, it's up to you. When are you at your best? When are you really energized? And you can review your career development plan or your business plan. Okay, where am I at? What have I achieved? What are the setbacks? What are the things I need to do for this week ahead? And schedule it, plan it, work on that. So this is Ready, Set, Go. And then we talked about this particular phase in the year. And the thing that I was just moving on to was it might well be the case that for you, you might need to just focus on just one thing. Sometimes the mind isn't really great at carrying lots of things to do at the same time. And this is why people can often feel kind of overwhelmed or, you know, just the head's in a muddle or exhausted and really, really tired. So for you, it might be just one thing. Okay, first of all, this one thing for me is at last getting my CV up to date. Well, then that make it on that. Well, for me, the one thing is getting the website up to date, because if it's got the new prices, all the services and all my products or whatever, then it's going to be a big difference to me, right? What's that one thing? Perhaps that one thing is just to focus on that one new piece of work that is going to be very, very empowering for you. So keep your mind focused on that one thing. Of course, there are other day-to-day things that need to be done, but sometimes just in terms of your mind's eye, having just that one point of focus can be very powerful. Athletes, for example, do it. They focus on point by point. I love tennis, as many of you may well know. It's the same in many sports. You'll be focused on point by point, moment by moment. What is that I need to focus on right now, today? This. So I want you to pause and think about that. If there were just one thing that you should be focusing on, if there were just one thing that was really important, what would it be? Let me ask that in a different way. What's the one thing that would have the biggest positive impact on you, in your career or your business? And focus on that. It might be that that's really going to be very, very significant for you. It might be for you that your health. I've coached a number of people whereby where they're at required that the health is number one. Health is always going to be number one, but we forget about it often until it's compromised, or there's a big challenge, or somebody dies. Suddenly remember that, oh, life is important, relationships are important, taking care of myself is very important. So perhaps for you, that's number one. Actually, number one, you think, actually, what I need to focus on right now is 2 weeks out, so I can just get some rest that I need. I can recharge. I can spend some time with the family, with loved ones, whatever it might be. That might be the one thing. Wow, how powerful is that? Because sometimes you need to really step back. We're heading toward the final furlong of today's webinar. And I think what I want to talk about is the thing that's on this t-shirt, become who you are. And this is going to apply both if you are in a career or if you are in business. We've talked about some of the very practical things: getting ready, getting materials ready, getting set, having timetables, having a plan, having a strategy. We talked about going, performing, giving our best 100%. We talked about things like reviewing and so on. But some of these things are very, very subtle. It might be that you're on a more inner journey. If you're watching this, you probably are on an inner journey. So you need to be able to have time for you, time to connect in with yourself, and just ask yourself, perhaps, where am I at right now, at this time, in this season? And what feels truest to me? What feels most true to me? And see what comes through. It might be, like many people who I coach and work with, that you're not seeing your own magic, or you're caught up in somebody else's dream. It happens all the time. Or you're just caught up in all this planning. It might even be for all the things I've talked about, setting goals. It might be a time where you're at a point of just letting them all go, that you're ready to work more fluidly, more patiently, non-expectantly, appreciatively. So maybe for you it's a case of just waking up each day and being grateful that you're here, that you're alive, and you have another day. One of the things that's really significant about this time, talk about going back to work, going back to business, and it's in the autumn time. I often say to people that the farmer's going to be busy at this time of the year because it's leading up to the harvest. In America, for Thanksgiving, or one has. So it can be well worth waking up from a space of thanks, being grateful that you're here, being grateful that you're alive, being grateful for whatever level of health and well-being that you have, being grateful for the people who are in your life. That straight away is going to make you feel energized and buoyant. Then you're asking yourself, okay, what is it that resonates with me? The farmer embraces life. The farmer embraces the seasons. The farmer learns and studies the land. So I'm inviting you here to step back, become more in tune with yourself, more in tune with nature, more in tune with your own nature. What is it that resonates with you? Maybe you're somebody who's very intuitive. The other week I was invited along to a business and intuition workshop. Sometimes when people are invited to explore their intuition, it's very, very, very powerful. So I really invite you to have time for you and time for silence. Time for just being. I was working just yesterday with a client. She runs a retreats business. Other people find that silence and that stillness and just to connect, because sometimes you need to go away. Sometimes you need to step back and we'll just move forward. Maybe you're at a point where you're wanting to shake everything up, or something just needs to go, or something needs to shift. If you're in that situation, and we touched on it before, do you know where you're headed? Do you know where you're going? Do you know what the change it is that you need? And are you resourceful enough for that? Or is it that you need to seek out some help and support for that? Might be people already in view. Might be about asking. Very often there are people who can help us with part of it. But that's down to you. Okay. I'm wanting to begin to round up this talk now. So we're going back to work, we're going back to business. Maybe it's a good point to even go back. Why is it that you work? Why is it that you're in business? Why? Why? Maybe you're lacking energy because maybe you don't know why it is that you're doing it. This is so important. Why is it that you're doing what you're doing? Sit with that question. Because I've always been passionate about healing and therapy. Because this challenge was a challenge that happened to somebody in my family. I'm doing this because of this. You know, when you are really connected to why you're doing something, you're going to always be energized by what it is that you're doing. So it's really, really powerful to ask yourself that why. Remember that you are the captain of your ship. You're the captain. You're the only one who can steer it to safe harbor. When I was running this career development workshop earlier on today, I was making the point to everybody there that they are in charge of their own ship. Nobody can do as good a job at steering the ship to safe harbor as you. So have you been abdicating that responsibility in terms of your life, in terms of your business, in terms of your career? If so, here is the time for you to take charge of that back. We're all in business, we're all in our own careers for our own unique reasons. So for those of you who know very much why you are doing it, hold fast to that why and let that why guide you constantly. Because I'm really passionate about helping people change their lives. Because I'm really so passionate about technology and creativity, I can't help but create. Because, as some people said, because I just am so passionate about helping people heal, whatever it might well be. Perhaps it's for you that you're in search of that, or it's changed. Take that time to connect into that. And it might well be that one of the things that you need to do is to reach out to other people who it is that can help you. So the last point I want to make before I'm going to invite you to begin to take some time to look at planning your next goals is this. Who are the people who it is that you could be talking to who could help you in your career? Earlier today when I was running this workshop for people who are employed, most of them have recognised that they could do with a mentor. Just this week, somebody actually approached me to mentor me, for me to mentor them I hadn't met before. Is there somebody within your career, within your field, within your business who you really admire, who could help you? Particularly if this is the case if it is that you're stuck. If you do approach them, make sure you really personalise it. Why is it you're approaching them? The person who had approached me, for example, to mentor them, their email was very, very brief. They just said, well, you know, I've just finished this, could you mentor me? Personalise it. Dear blah, 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 Joan Simmons, Joan blah, blah, blah. I'm really contacting you because you've been in this particular field of therapy for 20 years. I really admire how you work. I'm just starting out as a psychotherapist and I really love X, Y, and Z about your work. Would you be able to spend a little bit of time with me, perhaps once every month, by the phone, be it 10 minutes, make it easy for them to say yes. That can be really hugely powerful. Or perhaps it's about you building your own team. The person I was working with, in fact, the group of people I was working with earlier today, I was really encouraging them all to begin to develop their own team. Now you might think, well, you know, what on earth do you mean, Rashid, in terms of having a team? There's just me and my business. But the chances are that at some point you're going to need some photography, at some point you're going to need somebody to help you with some design, with some graphic imagery. At some point you might need to, like a client of mine who's got a very successful business, maybe it is that you're going to need to bring on some more associates and so on. You'll need to make sure that you've got a team. So you've got to go out there and you've got to be networking. And my tip is that you're constantly on the lookout for people who are exceptional, who are great at what they do. You're probably going to need somebody in your team who's really inspirational. You can need probably somebody in your team who's somebody who's really good at administration. You're going to probably need in your team somebody who's really good with technical things. You're probably going to need somebody in your team who is really good when it comes to the creative things. You're probably going to need somebody in your team who's good at the financial things. These people don't necessarily need to be employed, but they need to be people who you know and you can call on at any particular moment. Some of them are going to do it for free. Some of them, how is that you can help them? Some of them it's going to need that you're going to need to employ them, but you need to be resourceful. So you need resources. It's fine if you've got the money and so on, but sometimes you need to be resourceful. Often the sole trader doesn't have those resources. This applies equally if you're employed. Don't expect that necessarily your organisation is going to do it for you. Maybe the organisation's not going to put on that learning and development course. Maybe you're going to need to find it out yourself. Maybe you need to learn it all on YouTube. There are so many ways that you can do things now. So money is not an excuse. Money is not an excuse. Many of the world's most successful entrepreneurs are people who just did that. I spend a lot of time, I'm at the British Library a lot of the time. Many of you may know I'm a life coach and business coach, the British Library's business and intellectual property centre. The entrepreneur in residence started his business at 15. He was resourceful. He used the phone box at the end of the road in order to get things up and running. So sometimes you may not have the resources, so you might just need to be resourceful. So as we begin to wrap this up, and for those of you who are just tuning in now, I'm just going to very, very recap where the ground that we've covered here. Ready, set, go approach. Are you ready? Okay, other things you need to get ready. So are you rested? Are you relaxed? Are you re-energized? And it might well be that you need to put in time again for you to regularly relax or to get the exercise and so on that you need. Is everything ready? Do you have the materials ready? Should you be getting things ready each month rather than being caught out all the time? So when you're going to pitches, maybe you need to have some things systemized, organized, and so on, so that you are constantly ready. And that might require a bit of time out, but that bit of time spent might be very useful. The next thing was set, and this one is absolutely key. Have your eyes clearly set on where it is that you're going. You need to have a plan. What are your goals for yourself, for your career or your business? Either way, there's a 2-page business plan template that you can get from soultrader.biz if you need that. Or you can write your own plan for yourself and your career. And you need the mindset. You need to know where you're going. You're the captain of the ship, remember. And it may be that you need to set regular times for things. Times for these meetings, times when you're going to review your finances, times when you're going to review where it is that you're in your career. Okay? And then go. Go. That means you need to perform 100% all of the time. You need to give of your best, just like an athlete. but that go for you might be, actually, it's time for me to leave. It's time for me to leave. I'm ready for the next step. Like the client I talked about who's going abroad, like the client I talked about who's decided that they're giving themselves until December, in which case then they need to do the ready and set bits again for them to go. And then finally, this phrase, this period of time between now and December, perhaps it might be about you setting just 2 or 3 goals, or it might be just one thing. Okay, I'm going to complete that website by the end of the year. Okay, I'm going to do this by that time. Okay, I'm going to focus on bringing 1 client. So there you have it. My tip for you, if you've just joined us, is, because you can have 10 minutes spare, recap, watch this, and then work with this. Those of you who've been watching all this webinar, I'm going to give you 10 minutes, and I want you to write down what your goals, what's ready, what you need to get set, and what perhaps needs to go. Maybe there are certain things or people who need to go as well. This go bit might be about that, or it might be that you want to spend a little bit of time working on your goals for the rest of for this year. So I want to thank you very much for tuning in. Remember, there's a webinar once every month. So do check the website regularly. They'll be posted in terms of when the next website is and when the next webinar is. There's all sorts of other tools and resources on the site for you. There's a webinar, there's a podcast that I do usually around fortnightly. There's a really exciting one coming up with us with an entrepreneur. The first one, which is an interview, but there's a wonderful recent one, for example, on shifting seasons that people are commenting on a lot of the time. And there is a back to business one that you can tune into as well. And there's lots of other resources on the soultrader.biz website. And you'll find all sorts of other free resources on my website as well. So those of you in a point of career change, if you go to my rosaru.com website, or just Google or well-known search engine me and career, you'll find lots of tools and resources there. And also you might want to check out my website called Evolved Heart. Evolved Heart, as in heart. There's all sorts of tools and resources to help you if you're on that career journey. I want to thank you very much for being here, for tuning in, and for being supportive. And I wish you all the best on your life journey and your business journey. Good night. Take care. Bye-bye. See you soon.